Well, hello, scientists. We just read a storybook, about an amphibian as he hopped around looking for his food. Well, now we're going to read an informational text about that same amphibian. We're going to read a non-fiction book, and this one is quite simply called Life Cycle of a Frog. 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 I can say the sounds and then blend them together to make the whole word. So let's read about this amazing amphibian that often calls a pond its home habitat. Table of contents, so I know I'm going to get some information about a frog. Great, might get another wrinkle. Cool. Meet the frogs. There are many different kinds of frogs all over the world. This frog lives in trees. The reed frog lives in swamps. All frogs live near water. And along the bottom, we can see the life cycle of the frog as we follow along in the book. Frogs are amphibians. This means they spend part of their life in water and part on land. The frog in this book is a common frog, so that means you can pretty much find him anywhere. If I'm common, you can find me in a lot of places. It's the opposite to unusual. A mass of eggs. Day 1. The frog begins life as a tiny egg laid in water. These frogs have just laid massive of eggs in a pond. You can see the frogs laying all their eggs in that pond. It looks like jelly with little black dots in it. Why do you think they have to lay so many eggs? Yeah, you're right. Predators are going to eat a lot of the eggs. Only a few will make it. The eggs stick together in a big blob of slimy jelly called spawn. The black dot inside each egg is a tiny tadpole. Hatching, 1 week. Fish and other animals like to eat the spawn, but hundreds of eggs survive. The tadpoles grow bigger and bigger inside the eggs. Finally, the tadpoles hatch from the eggs. They hang on to the spawn until their tails grow longer and stronger and they can swim on their own. So there they are, hanging on, waiting for their tails to grow longer and stronger. Tadpole, 1 to 4 weeks. The gills take in oxygen so the tadpole can breathe underwater. As the tadpole turns into a frog, the feathery gills will disappear. Many tadpoles are eaten by water insects and other animals. The ones that survive eat tiny plants and grow bigger and stronger. So we've got one showing us the gills, the feathery gills, which we know will disappear over time. And then, predator of the tadpole. Nom, 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 nom. This tadpole will not make it to a frog. 5 weeks, back leg. The tadpole begins to change into a frog. We know that's metamorphosis. The back legs grow first. Hey, that's the opposite to a salamander. Remember, the salamander's front legs grew first. Lungs grow inside the tadpole's body. Now the tadpole can swim up to the surface of the water and breathe in oxygen from the air. That's like us. Front legs grow inside the tadpole's gill pouches. The gill pouches are bulging and soon her legs will push through them. Gill pouches, and you can see the front legs growing inside there. It's kind of like having pockets. The tadpole still uses her long tail to swim among the plants. She catches some of these water fleas in her wide mouth and eats them. You can just see the little dots around her. Those are the water fleas. Froglet, 12 weeks. The tadpole is turning into a froglet. Her tail is getting shorter. Now she swims by using her long back legs and webbed feet. We know that's when you have a fine membrane of skin in between your digits to help make a paddle. Now the tiny froglet has no tail. She climbs out of the water onto a leaf. She looks around and she listens for danger. Darn it, darn it. What do you think she'll do if she hears it? I agree. Probably hop right back into the pond. 3 months. Tiny froglets spend time out of the pond. They sit on lily pads. They also hide under leaves and stones. The froglet's skin is very thin and must not dry out. She dives back into the pond to get wet again. We know if they dry out, they will die. So that's why amphibians need to stay moist. Their skin is so thin. Frog, 3 to 6 months. When the frog is hungry, she sits very still and waits. Then, using her long, sticky tongue, she catches an insect. So if I'm eating a protein, like an insect, am I a carnivore, a herbivore, or an omnivore? Yep, I'm a carnivore now. So they started out nibbling on plants, but now they're pure carnivores. Insects and bugs. Yum, yum. This grass snake is a predator. When the frog hears it slithering toward her, she dives quickly into the pond. Get away from that predator. 6 to 12 months. When winter comes and the weather turns very cold, the frog looks for a safe hole by the pond. She will stay here and hibernate. We know that means to sleep through the winter. In the spring, she wakes up and is very hungry. She crawls out of the hole and leaps off to find food. Another year has passed. The frog's body is fat with eggs. The male frogs are calling from the pond. She hops over to them. A male frog will hold on to her and they will mate. After a while, she will lay the eggs and create a new massive spawn, and the cycle will start all over again. Life in the pond. A frog's life is dangerous. Birds, fish, and other predators feed on spawn, tadpoles, and frogs. Only a few eggs will live to become fully grown frogs. Some frogs may live up to 10 years. Every spring, adult frogs return to the pond where they were born. They mate and lay thousands of new eggs in the pond. Oh, I like the way that heron is standing very still, waiting to be able to catch a frog. And then here is a picture of that life cycle, including the stage of metamorphosis. Take a close look, my friends, and keep that life cycle in your brain. And let's scroll on down and find out what is our scientific assignment for today.